In August of 2018, a young girl named Molly Tibbetts, age 20, a college student, was out running one day. However, a man was running up behind her, eventually overtook her, a man named Christian Rivera. And later, in a moment of panic, he claimed, signed in an affirmative affidavit, he killed her. He was pled guilty, and he was found guilty of murder. He was an illegal alien that did not belong in the U.S. in the first place. I believe this story and countless others reflect a growing concern of U.S. citizens in that illegal immigrants are causing a problem in U.S. society. Today, I'll talk about how illegal immigration is a burden on the U.S. taxpayer, a proposition of a border wall as a solution, and counter arguments to common rebuttals as to why a wall won't work. There are currently around 11 million illegal U.S. immigrants in the U.S. That's around 3.5% of the population. However, that 3.5% of the population makes up around 21% of federal, local, and state prison systems. That means they commit crimes at a rate of 3 times higher than the average U.S. citizen. There's also the count of keeping them accountable and keeping them hosted and fed inside a prison. The Government Accountability Office found that it takes around $31,000 to house an inmate every year. That includes food, roof over their head, security, and other such things. And there are also currently around 730,000 illegal aliens in our prison system. Let's do some math. 31,000 US dollars times 730,000 illegal aliens in the prison system accounts for 22.8 billion US dollars, taxpayer money spent on people who do not belong in the US. They should be deported and left and back to their own countries so they can alleviate money from the taxpayer to the government to spend it on whatever else. In fact, a study done by FAIR on the physical burden of illegal immigration in the United States taxpayer found that illegal immigrants cost the U.S. taxpayer at state, local, and federal levels around 116 billion US dollars. That includes impact on education, medical, justice enforcement, welfare, and other government programs. That is correct. Illegal immigrants, non-U.S. citizens, people who do not belong in the U.S., are receiving government taxpayer money. The Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE agency, is a government agency used to enforce immigration laws, and so far they seem to be doing a pretty poor job. One important thing to note in all of this is that every crime committed by an illegal alien would not have been committed if they weren't here in the first place, if there was something to stop them from saving all of these American lives. I will now talk about how walls work. What's a wall supposed to do? I will tell you what this wall is to do. Protect U.S. citizens. Keep others out who do not belong in the U.S. The triple fence outside of San Diego led to a 90% decrease in infiltration in the U.S., and a simple fence along the Israeli and Egyptian border led to a 99% decline in infiltration. Walls work. Whenever there's a barrier in the way, it becomes harder to go across. This is why there's big barriers outside of the White House to protect the White House from bomb trucks and cars trying to ram into it. It may not look pretty and they may seem ugly on the outset. However, a wall is to protect. Sometimes form has to follow function. That's another reason as to why you don't let everyone into your house. Not everybody meets the standard that you have if you want to invite them as a guest. Or why not everybody can come into VMI if they can't meet the physical standard, the educational standard, the academic standard, whatever it is. Not everyone has the pleasure to be called the U.S. citizen. I will now talk about common rebuttals to the wall and why it won't work and why they are not true rebuttals. Walls won't work as illegals will just find another way over. True, but nothing is 100% foolproof in life. A wall along the southern border would at least help deter and stop the free flow of immigrants into the U.S. and at least be a step in the right direction. 40% of illegals come over on planes just to overstay their visas and they're classified as illegal aliens. That means 60% of illegal aliens just walk across the border. A wall would greatly deter that, and even if it didn't stop all 60%, it'd be a step in the right direction to stop those aliens from coming over. Walls won't work, as just a 30-foot fence would mean a 31-foot ladder on the other side. True, which is why I think we should also increase border patrols and their patrols of the border to make sure no one is just digging tunnels or throwing up ladders to get across the border. It's too expensive is another common rebuttal. MSNBC found that the estimated cost to build the border wall will be 21 billion US dollars. Does that number sound familiar? That's around the same amount of money that it takes year over year to house the 730,000 illegal aliens currently in the U.S. system. Deport them, take the money that would be going to them, and start making the border wall a reality. Now, I've said a lot of controversial things and maybe some stark and sharp stances on some objects, so let me extend an olive branch. Immigration and Customs Enforcement will not be going door to door checking on immigrants to see if their status is up to date and deporting them if they're not. It's a waste of resources and just not a good idea. Secondly, we should keep the current 11 million immigrants here in the U.S. However, if they are caught committing a crime, they should be deported immediately as they have blown their last chance. I will also give a proposal proposed by the late Charles Krauthammer, a political analysis on his solution as to how we can solve this problem. Let the current 11 million illegal aliens stay to be able to work, and their children will automatically become U.S. citizens by birth. However, we will not give the current 11 million illegal immigrants the right to vote, as they came here legally, so they should be allowed to vote on how the U.S. policy should be done. And I sympathize with those who are trying to get jobs and better lives here in the U.S., which is why I believe we should reform the current immigration status to make it easier for those with good degrees, no criminal records to be able to come and live the American dream. Together, we can put America first and trying to make her a safer place for everyone to come in to become citizens and take part of the American dream. Today, I've talked about how illegal aliens are a burden on the U.S. taxpayer. They commit crimes at 3 times the higher rate, and a wall will protect Americans and disincentivize those to come over illegally. Thank you for your time.